right, good evening, everybody. My name is Bill Stewart. I am first vice president of the board, and I'm chairing tonight's meeting because our board president, Trish Gonzalez, is out on vacation. So I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:17. Erica, will you please take roll call?
Yes, sir. Hi, everyone. Trish is not going to be here. Bill Stewart is here. Julie Chetney.
Here.
Pretty Subramaniam.
Here.
And Pretty Kelly
Here.
Privet. Joseph Wong.
Here.
Sam Yi. No. Karen Sarsa Diaz I.
Here.
Hi, Karen. Philip Loy.
I'm here, Erica.
Hi, Philip. Richard Centeno.
I'm here, Erica.
Richard. Adriana Pinedo.
Here.
Hi, Adriana. And Tina Wright.
Here.
Hi, Tina. Okay,
Hi,
Bill.
yeah.
Forum.
Wonderful. Thanks, Erica. Let's review the agenda. Does anyone have any requested revisions or additions? Hearing none, we will press on with the agenda. Erica, do we have any public comment?
Yes, we have 2 people signed up, and if it's okay with you, I'm going to read the guidelines.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. The Board of Directors welcomes public participation and values input from our community. If you have signed up to give us public input during the board meeting, we kindly ask that the following guidelines be observed. Time limit. Each speaker has up to 3 minutes to speak. The board will note comments that require follow-up. Please be aware that the board does not respond or take action during public comment in order to maintain adherence to our governance process. If you have handouts or written comments, please submit them to me prior to the meeting so that they can be shared with the board. To protect privacy, the board cannot discuss specific individuals or cases during public comment. We follow Robert's Rules of Order to ensure the meeting remains fair, focused, and organized. Our meetings provide transparency and access to public information. We follow both state guidelines and our own standards for accountability. The first person that we have signed up is Mitch. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. My name is Mitch Oto. I'm one of the child and adolescent psychiatrists at Children's Hospital Los Angeles. I'm here today to advocate on behalf of a 16-year-old boy who's now spent over 5 months in a hospital. After today is his 165th day here with us. And he's not here because of medical necessity, doesn't need IVs, no surgeries, monitoring of his vitals. He's here with us because there's nowhere else for him to go. So I'm joining today's meeting to advocate for his needs, but I'll tell you guys a little bit about his reality at the moment. He spends the majority of his days alone in his single room, mindlessly watching TV or movies, each of which I'm sure he's seen now at least 3 times because there's not that many. He takes a couple walks around the unit, but gets no real opportunity for exercise. He hasn't gone outside and smelled fresh air since he got here. So imagine what it feels like to know that you don't have a place to belong. You're watching other children leave the hospital while you remain behind, not because you're sick, but because the system can't find you a home. So our psychiatry team has been working closely with his Lanterman Regional Center team during these past 5 months, trying to find him a home. And he's gotten his hopes up as placements are found, only to have them crushed when the plans fall through. And most recently, a placement has been identified through Hope House, which is within your regional center catchment area. We were told that this bed had been open for an extended period of time while he's been languishing in the hospital, but a logistical battle between the San Gabriel Pomona and Lanterman Regional Centers was delaying his placement. And while this battle rages on, stuck in the middle is a child who had to celebrate his 16th birthday in the hospital. When I met with him today, he shared that he's frustrated, but more than anything, he's sad and depressed. Every day in the hospital is another day of lost opportunities for him and another message that his life isn't being prioritized. And I apologize if this is not the correct venue, but I'm here today because frankly, I didn't know where else to turn. Our team is exhausted and demoralized by the repeated dead ends while we watch him sink into despair in front of our eyes. So, I'm asking you guys today, to cut through the bureaucratic red tape, facilitate cooperation between the two regional centers and help him get what he deserves, a setting that will allow him to reach his full potential and give him a chance at regaining his childhood. I can leave my contact information for any of you to reach out to me or to our team for more information, or ways that you guys can help with this matter. And I just want to thank you all for your time.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Erica, who's up?
Mr. Carl Argila.
Yeah, Mr. Argila, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Erica, is my audio coming through again?
Yes, sir, you're good.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. And the very sad story I just heard from Mitch Otu, of course, is not an isolated story. This has been an agency that has so grossly violated the rights of so many vulnerable people in our community. As you know, board, my name is Carl Argila. I am the father of Cavan Argila, an intellectually disabled deaf client of the San Gabriel Pomona Regional Center. Tonight's San Gabriel Pomona Regional Center board meeting, including my comments, are being recorded under the provisions of the Bagley-Keene Act and will be posted for public review on my blog at www.sgprc.net. And as you know, board, I filed a Welfare and Institutions Code 4731 complaint against your regional center and its vendor for your failure to provide a communication accessible environment at your so-called deaf house for my son, Cavan Argila, who is an involuntary resident at that facility. This situation has been ongoing for more than 2 years. Your vendor has made numerous promises to hire American Sign Language fluent staff. However, his promises have proven to be unfulfilled. The complaint is now with the DDS director. A decision from the DDS director is due by October 3rd. Once again, board, I am requesting that you terminate your conservatorship of my son, Cavan Argila. As you know, my son has clearly stated that he does not want to be conserved by you. My son has clearly stated that he wants his family to be his conservator. My son, Cavan Argila, has had another meeting with your so-called executive director's designee, Patricia Rambo. Ms. Rambo has failed to provide my son with a transition plan to move out of conservatorship. We do not trust Ms. Rambo to be unbiased in her role as the executive director's designee for my son, Cavan Argila. We are requesting that Dr. Weller appoint another person to serve as his designee for my son, Cavan Argila. And just a reminder to any other parent who hears my voice this evening, please take note. No matter how consumer-friendly the San Gabriel Pomona Regional Center may appear to be, ultimately, they have the power to become your child's conservator and ruin your life. Please assure that the official minutes of this board meeting accurately state that I am requesting that the San Gabriel Pomona Regional Center terminate their conservatorship of my son, Cavan Argila. And if Dr. Otu believes that his client has problems now, wait until he complains enough times that the regional center decides to become that teenager's conservator. that will be the end of his life. Thank you again for listening to my comments this evening, board. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Argila. We will now move on to reviewing the minutes from the August board meeting. Are there any changes that people are asking for the agenda? Excuse me, the board meeting minutes from August? Not hearing any. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which is just simply the August board meeting minutes? Do I have a motion?
I will make a motion to accept the minute for last month meeting, Bill.
Thank you so much, Philip. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you so much. Great. All right. All in favor, raise a hand or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? See on screen one. Erica, I hope you got all that. I'm sure you did.
I got it.
Great. You're the best. All right. Let's move on to committee reports. By the way, we won't have a executive finance or a financial report tonight. The finance team is knee deep, or perhaps neck deep, a better way of saying it, in terms of the year-end close. So next board meeting we will. So first up on committee reports, Philip, to talk about advisory committee for individuals served and their families.
Okay, Bill. So on the advisory committee for individuals serving the family, we have a special presentation of emergency preparedness by Cavan Argila from Cavan Argila Consulting. And then we have our future training topic for October 26th, 2025 will be the strategic plan overview part 1. And on December 17th, 2025 will be strategic plan overview part 2. Those are my updates for this meeting, Bill.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Philip. Next up, Strategic Development Committee, Julie, please.
Yes, hi. At our meeting earlier tonight, board and committee members, you will be receiving a survey in the not too distant future. We do this every year at this time to get a sense of how board and committee members are feeling in their roles in governance for this regional center, but also to rank some training topics. So every calendar year, there's 4 months worth of board meetings that are designated for training. There's some mandated by DDS, the Department of Developmental Services, but there are 2 slots that we get to choose the topics. And so earlier tonight, the committee landed on various topics that will be presented in this survey for you to rank. And we're pretty excited about those topics. Can't wait to see what everyone chooses. And we'll get that report ready to send off to DDS and get ourselves set for 2026. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Julie. Next up, Kelly, Vendor Advisory Committee. Date, please.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing this month? I'm here. The Vendor Advisory Committee wanted me to bring one topic up to you. It's in the board minutes. If you see it, it's the rate reform and equity letter that they are sending. So I'll kind of give you a high, sorry, it's always finding all the open things. They're sending the letter. It's mainly from the early intervention services, and they have composed a letter to talk about impact, why the rates, how the rates are impacting the families, the barriers regarding therapy, center-based care, also kind of how the rate affects future therapists. So they put it together in their subcommittee, and they were going to send it. They wanted the vendor advisory to know, and then they signed it. The group of people that put this together signed it from our regional center. But they wanted to make sure that we, not only as a vendor advisory committee knew, but also that the board knew that they were sending this letter up to DDS. So if, you can read it, have an understanding, but they didn't want us, not you, but us to be kind of surprised if DDS responds back to the board.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
You're welcome.
Next up is the Community Relations and Legislative Advisory Committee. And Karen, thank you for filling in for Trish. Over to you, please.
All right, thank you, Bill, and thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. We met a couple weeks ago, and we heard from our director, Dr. Weller. He gave us an update on the state and local latest legislative actions and activities. We heard about the ARCA board training, the Public Records Act update, the Caring Futures training, and the Life Outcome Improvement System, otherwise known as LOIS. We also heard from our community outreach specialists from Sal's group, who told us about what they've been up to in the last month or so. And that was pretty much it. Over to you.
Great, thanks so much, Karen. I'll now give the board president's report on behalf of Trish.
Phil?
Sorry.
It looks like Philip has his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Philip.
Excuse me, Kelly. Then I have a question.
Yes.
If there is a form free of charge, that individual to help with them, if us come after us when we are out in the community, so our family members know where we are at.
So what the question, I'm sorry, Philip, I want to make sure that I'm answering the question. You were saying that the question was about free of charge of somebody knowing who you are in the community?
If I was out in the community, if there done be a form free of charge that individual to help with them.
So if somebody is in the community, is there a charge to have somebody help with them in the community?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt, Kelly. I'm his direct supportive. He's asking about ICE. You know how he's worried about, let's see if they come and he's out in the community, if there's a form he can have on so his family member know where is he at. That's his question.
Okay, so what I would do is talk with your group, your organization that is supporting you, so NADA, about what you would need to do if something did happen in the community. And that would be good, just safety across the board, right, for all of us, do you have kind of where you're going to go, about what time, when you should come back, do you have, like on my phone, I have in an emergency. So if you look at my cell phone, an emergency person can get 2 phone numbers to call, even while my phone is locked, only in case of an emergency. So there are some different things, Philip, that if you wanted to, we could talk a little bit more about, and we do that for our college career programs. So when people are out and about, that they're feeling a little bit more safe, that people know where they are. Is that your conversation, Philip?
Yes, Kelly.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to give you my email address here, Philip, and you can email me and I can give you some different ideas.
Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the question, Philip. Thank you for the answer, Kelly. Okay, board president's report. Again, I'll give it on behalf of Trish. So first of all, 2 very well-deserved thank yous. The first one to all of the regional center staff who helped out at the Richard D. Davis golf tournament earlier this month. It was, again, just an exceptional event, fully sold out, great experience as a player. So thank you to everyone from the regional center team who was there to help. Secondly, a thank you to everyone who attended the Public Records Act training. There will be some follow-ups for the board that Jesse will be taking us through a little bit later in the year. And then last note, just a reminder that the ARCA Academy will be held November 14th to 15th in Sacramento. And if you have any questions, please reach out to Erica. But again, highly encourage those who can attend to be there. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jesse for the Executive Director's Report.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Bill.
Sure.
How's everybody doing at 7:37? Okay, I see some smiles. That's always fantastic. I'm going to share my screen here. And let's see, can everybody see my presentation okay? Is it
Yes.
loading? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. All right, I'll kick us off, everybody. Wanted to put our vision statement on here. You'll see me rotate this between our values and our mission. We really, as a committee and a community, when we put together our mission, vision, values, didn't want it to get put onto a shelf. And so I purposely put this at the beginning of the presentation just to kind of keep it at our forefront. And this board meeting, I chose to do our vision statement just as a reminder and an anchor of where we're headed. A world where individuals with developmental disabilities have endless possibilities and thrive. I think looking at the future is very important, and especially when there are stressors. Philip, you bring up something that is very anxiety provoking for a lot of people out there and very stressful. And so I think it's always good to be prepared and also to stay focused on our North Star. If you can believe it, we are in the fall officially. I just wanted to do a memo. This is really similar to a memo I did to our workforce for our newsletter. Just want to remind everybody now that we're in fall officially, just to get back into those routines. Hope everybody enjoyed their summer and got the peace that you deserve.
Yeah.
Hi, Tina. We know fall is a busy time and getting adjusted to if you have children back in school. We're just hearing a lot around just support needs when you have parents who are relying on you or family members or caregivers. So just want to just do some mindfulness there as you gear up for the fall season. Putting it out to everybody around me just to really prioritize your self-care, all of your health, everybody here, your health is important. As we head into the holiday season, I think it's always important to put a little extra emphasis. I try to put this out annually as a reminder before we get heavy into the holidays, but I think it's good to be talking about and raising awareness that we all know that for many people, holidays are very exciting and there's a lot of stuff to look forward to,
Yeah.
traditions and cultures. For others, it can feel a little overwhelming and it can feel a little stressful. There can be a lot of different dynamics occurring, and if you've had loss or if things look different during the holiday season, people just react differently. So just be aware of the ones around you, your friends, your loved ones, your community, and just know that people might be in different places as we get closer to October, November, and December. Switching it from Fall to Public Records Act, I will stop for just a moment because I believe we have Maria with us this evening, Maria Nunez. You'll see Maria on the screen here. Maria is our new Public Records Act manager. Maria is very familiar with San Gabriel Pomona Regional Center. She has a long history with Regional Center working with us, and she most recently was at the Department of Developmental Services and returned to help us with a really important topic. So I just want to say thank you, Maria, to joining San Gabe. And the excitement has been very prominent up on your announcement of your skills and professionalism. And DDS, I see DDS here, saying that we got a great person to join us. And so just want to say thank you, Maria, for jumping in so quickly. And then you'll be seeing communications from Maria soon as we're letting her find the pencils of where they used to be in the office. But we're hitting the ground running to make sure that we're fully ready to move forward with Public Records Act. Rita, do you want to do a hello? I put you on the spot here. But...
Yes, of course. Hello, everybody. Like Jesse said, I was at the Regional Center for 13 years. And then more recently, I was at DDS for 6 years, and I am ecstatic to be back. And it's just been such a warm welcome, and I look forward to working with you all in the future when we develop the trainings and in this exciting new chapter we have with PRAs.
Thank you. All right, that was a little intermission there. Let me get my PowerPoint back up here. So we got Maria here, just so you all know, as I mentioned, and we will be fully ready to go by January 1 amongst all the regional centers to be in full compliance with California Public Records Act. Budget talk, we're tracking that budget carefully. We'll have more information next month. Just as a high-level overview for those that are looking at the numbers across the state, we are almost at a $19 billion budget for regional centers, if you can believe it. That number is continuing to grow, mostly due to caseload growth and to rate reform. So that's a really good number. We have to carefully watch that. And that 37%, just as a reminder for everybody, those are our federal matching dollars that we get. So we have to really be careful with that. Those monies are intact. There was a little bit of impounding on some federal streams, but overall, we just have to be careful if that 37 gets reduced or, at a federal level. That way, California can prepare if that were to happen. So I'm telling everybody just to remember to breathe, and we're looking very well situated at the moment, and we'll know where our state is headed in mid to late January of next year when the governor releases his highlights. So we'll get a better picture of the outlook. There's a lot of moving factors in terms of the state's economic status right now. There are extensions for taxpayers, and so up until October for LA County. And so we won't see some of those streams and projections come in to the Department of Finance at a later time to kind of see where we are as an overall state, not just for the Department of Developmental Services, but as a state as a whole, that we'll see coming up soon. And just as a quick reminder that all regional centers are showing growth for Public Records Act funding, and that's been incorporated into our B2 allocation, which we just got recently. So we're sitting well there. Lois, you're going to hear me talk about Lois, so please have this on your radar, everybody. It involves every single one of you, and I don't want any opportunities to be missed because genuinely you all have an opportunity and option to give feedback on a brand new case management and financial management system. So this is for staff, this is for individuals served. I want to thank you, Preeti, for coming to represent San Gabe and your feedback and your family. At the town hall that we had. I like to say that the train has left the station, and so there's a lot of work being done, but there is a vision to create technology for you that is more modern. And some of the examples that I like to give is to make it easier to talk to the regional center, make it easier for you all to download an IPP, to download an authorization. Just like if you're familiar with Kaiser or different models where you can log in to a portal, there's a lot of vision to have more automation and efficiencies in there as well. And so, Kelly, I'll get this information in front of service providers as well. But we just did a bunch of town halls for different parts of the state. And you'll see starting tomorrow as the next one for employment, the state is holding virtual meetings for the following service providers. So I'm not going to read the whole slide to you, but just if you have an interest as a service provider for employment, for specialized therapeutic or ABA or behavioral services, day service, transportation, early start, please look at the dates and the times. I really would like to have good representation from San Gabe for your perspectives as vendors and providers of what you think the system should look like. Because some of the pain points and pressure points that bubble up between authorizations and those areas. So I put the link on there. So if you have an interest, please, I would like to take advantage of these opportunities so we can be well represented for service providers. And then there's a few topics for board members, individual served and family members. If you fit one of these categories, if you're we'll do some work here, but if you're in the intake process actively, the department wants to hear from you. They want to know how it's going, trying to get into the regional center system. Transfers, if there's tangles between regional centers about a transfer from one center to another, they want to get that feedback. And then also for self-determination and just more opportunities for individuals and families who did not do an in-person town hall they decided to do an afternoon and an evening session for people that are working and that. So I just want to highlight and give a shout out to the department. They're really taking a lot of steps to get feedback. And so I just want to recognize and say thank you to the department for putting so much thought on all the sensitive topics to really hopefully build a really good system for us. So just want to give some acknowledgement there. Next up, news and headlines out there as it relates to the communities that are important to us. The department, in conjunction with Public Health and the Office of the Surgeon General, released a statement. It's on the department's website, and I just want to put this out in support that Americans deserve clear medical guidance that is a result of rigorous scientific process. That everyone is urged to seek out credible medical guidance to inform their healthcare choices and to have conversations with their licensed healthcare providers. So I think that's an important statement. We're going to be supporting that. It's a very sensitive topic out there. There's a lot of hurt and a lot of feelings just around those kind of statements and what that looks like. And so just I didn't want to be silent, and I want to uplift the public comment that was put out there today. And State Council also just released a statement a few minutes ago in this as well, just trying to clear up inaccuracies and misinformation. So I just want you all to be aware of that. If you have an interest in this topic, I put the link on there for you so you can get the full statement from the department. Couple of bills happening out there, everybody. I want to bring your attention to Senate Bill 258. This is a bill and a legislation here that the Association of Regional Centers is asking for support. There is current law that permits sexual assault against a spouse when that spouse is unable to consent to a disability. It's a very outdated law, and this bill is looking to eliminate that discriminatory language and not make assumptions and to do the right thing by individuals. And so this is it's more about cleaning up language in there. And it's been a lot of work done to be an advocate and support for our community. So if you hear about SB 258 in there, it's really about cleaning up that language to ensure that people are held accountable for the things that they do. The next bill is 1172. There is support being asked for. This is really specific. It's a bill that allows for emergency anti-seizure medication to be administered in day programs in licensed homes and in certain settings. This medication is preventing certain people from attending programs when there are clinicians and doctors that feel that it is safe with the licensure to be able to do this and not be inhibited from going to certain places. So there's a lot of traction, and we're hoping that Governor Newsom signs this along with some other medications that are coming forward that are safe for people that can still attend programs, still meet licensing requirements, and create more opportunities for people. So we did some work, and this was a big topic for ARC at Grassroots up April of this year. And then the last one is Assembly Bill 341. Many people with developmental disabilities face extreme fear or anxiety about dental care. I think all of us fear dentists at some degree. I'll speak for myself. And that this bill is looking to reduce barriers and improve access. There's a lot of similarities in this bill that San Gabe Pomona Regional Centers are already doing through our dental clinic that I want to bring some attention to, really helping support people work through those stressors and fears, because we know there is a lot of data that the more fear and anxiety for individuals that are served going to the dentist can lead to anesthesia or other areas. Whereas if we can practice and work through some of those fears and anxieties, we can have better outcomes. And so we actually do, I hope everyone is aware of this, but we do through our dental clinic practice sessions. We call them desensitization, where individuals can come into one of our rooms that looks just like a dental office. We have dental students there, and they can go through with a really carefully designed behavioral interventions to work on through those anxieties. So that way there are more successful outcomes when they actually do have to go to the dentist. in there as well. So I always like to showcase our work there and give a shout out to Christina Makasai, our dental coordinator. She's phenomenal and does a lot of work in this topic for us. Just a little bit more legislative stuff here. November 4th, you'll see in California that Prop 50 will be on the ballot. There is a very specific measure that's being carefully monitored as it relates to congressional redistricting. It's in response to other redistricting happening in other parts of locations. And so if you have an interest in the topic, we just want to put it on the radar of people to just be informed, get information. And then there's some interviews that have been done and some more literature being put out through the association. So if you have an interest in these topics, there's some links here that you can click on as well. Next topic is about remote services. There's been a lot of flexibility through COVID, through pandemic. That's continued in certain pockets for certain service delivery. And this is just a reminder, we still got some time, but authorization for remote services is time limited and is supposed to sunset December 31st of 2026. Not this year, at the end of next year. And the department is going to be doing some continued work, meeting with self-advocates and regional centers, because they have to make a report to the legislator on remote planning team meetings in January and make some recommendations by May 2026. So just, I'm going to just plant seeds on this, and as it gets closer with more information, I'll be bringing more information back because this is an important, it's an important topic to our community as it relates to authorization of remote service delivery. Disability Advisory Committee. Today, I've been invited to serve on an advisory committee as it relates to some big divisions for Los Angeles County. So there is a Disability Advisory Strategic Plan occurring with LA County Public Health, LA County Department of Health Services, and Department of Mental Health. Really specific on lifting up the space and the gaps between regional center and individuals in the public health system. And so the inaugural meeting happened today in downtown LA, was very successful. Lots of good discussion and a lot of commitment from stakeholders and a lot of influence from government employees on how to do better systems work so people aren't falling through the gaps. Lots as Los Angeles County communicating with one another. How are we doing to get more doctors, physicians, psychologists that are trained and equipped to work with the communities that we serve? How do we make sure emergency rooms and hospitals are more inclusive and exam rooms have more equipment that's designed to be more inclusive for people with disability related needs? That we're all kind of doing similar work, but kind of getting that synergy going. So I'm proud to be able to represent LA County Regional Centers and San Gabe at the table. We have an artisan fair and market at San Gabe. This is where individuals get to come showcase their custom made art and their work and their crafts. The pins are nearby. And we're excited to do that September 30th from 10 to noon. It's always an opportunity and touching for us to be able to create a space when we think about what a regional center is supposed to be doing, and invite people that we're serving. That's really their.
I gotta interrupt you for a minute, Jesse.
Mhm.
I'm all set up for it.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I got lots of pins and I got lots of jewelry and keychains and everything. So I'm ready for it. It's next Tuesday at 10 o'clock from 12. So I'm ready for it.
I hope there might be a Mickey Mouse floating in there somewhere.
Oh, yes, there is like Minnie and Mickey and all kinds of stuff.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Tina, and everybody else. I appreciate very much. Just a couple more slides, everybody. Sorry, I had a lot of information. So let me know if I'm going too quickly. The next item on here, this is a collective effort on here. Just so everybody knows, just some context here. During COVID-19, I believe it used to be weekly. Weekly meetings with service providers and with the community. And then that, as COVID was so intense and so many moving parts, that it served such a great purpose. And then it kind of took on a new life form just because of how many changes were occurring. In addition to the vendor advisory committee, we did some work with the community and learned that we would keep them on a monthly basis to go from weekly to monthly. And it was a nice touch point. And then there's been some feedback coming in that in addition to our vendor advisory committees, which have always been there on those first Thursdays of the month, about is it duplicate and what meetings should people go to? And Kelly and I were having some conversations about how do we maximize our participation and attendance at the VAC committee. So we did some work, brought it to the VAC committee already. And we kind of collectively decided that we're going to sunset that monthly service provider meeting, which became a duplicate. Although we did get recognition for how helpful it's been on other updates, just as reminders. I want to acknowledge that we're sunsetting that meeting. We had our last one on the 15th. And then everybody's support, just to kind of remind everybody to really maximize our vendor advisory committee. It's really a great opportunity to share pressing matters, issues on service topics. You get reports and PowerPoints from Lucina and Tim on everything that's happening. And so we're looking to synergize, and this will also shore up a little bit of resources for our staff so they can focus on rate reform and authorization changes in that area as well. So just wanted to make sure everybody's clear that that was sunset and that the VAC is not sunset. It will never sunset, and that we still have that every month. We average anywhere between 80, Lucina, Tim, would you say about 80 to 100? And Kelly, 100 people?
Yes.
In that range. We're hoping to get more. Did I butcher anything, Kelly, on my end?
No, you did well, but it made me think about how we followed suit for what you did with your staff and how we put into the VAC book, I guess, Google book, how to reach everybody, including myself and all of the subcommittees, to try to really push more engagement and people to be connected more. So
I love it. Yes, and that's in our folder. I think we just uploaded that too for our vendor advisory committee. There was a request, everybody there, of how do I get a hold of the chairs of different committees? And so we have that uploaded there, and it's, I think, helpful if other committees are interested in that. Just makes contact easier for people that have questions or how to get involved in there as well. And we are keeping our monthly community meeting, that format. That was a question that came up as well. A couple other things here. Partnership program with Cal Baptist University, and it's a free partnership. The partnership does some great things. I just put a few on here to highlight for employees that if there is any employees that choose to pursue education in the following areas, SanGabe employees can receive a 20% tuition scholarship through that school. They also get free admissions application and personalized support with an admissions counselor in there as well. This was a recommendation that came through us from a service coordinator that learned that Inland Regional Center had this partnership and brought it to us for assessment and consideration. And we got to do some follow-up, and it worked out being a great partnership. So we're learning more about these preferred partnerships, especially when the department used to be able to fund tuition reimbursement for staff up to $30,000 total, and that was sunset due to budget constraints. We're trying to find other ways to encourage individuals that want to go back to school or achieve education in ways that we can partner on it. So just want to make you all aware of this partnership that we have with Cal Baptist University. Some exciting news. I went from public records and statements. I got to throw in some good stuff in there too. Our new office is around the corner, everybody. We're growing, we're expanding. We're going to be located in Irwindale, California as our growth office at 4900 River Grade Road. We're still on track to be opening in early 2026. Once I get a confirmation of the final touches, we'll be organizing a very public red ribbon cutting ceremony for everybody, which will be really exciting. We are still keeping Pomona, everybody. We're still in Pomona. We're just adding a growth office for our location over there at Irwindale. So we're active in those planning phases to make sure it's successful in that move. And I'm excited for everybody to see it. Staffing updates, we are at 566 authorized positions. You'll see our recruiting here that we're continuing to do for our growth positions. Mostly growth. We're still struggling to get psychologists. We have a manager of psychological services that we've been recruiting for. So we're really paying attention. We need more psychologists desperately with the amount of intakes that we're doing. And we'll continue to work for service coordinators and some of the support positions. And then you'll see that Tim Travis was promoted from Associate Director to Director of Community Services. Thank you, Tim Travis. Tim reports to Lucina, so Lucina's still over Community Services. Tim's just getting recognized for his work at the director level, and then we'll be doing some backfilling at a manager level for his division. With our growth, Community Services is an area that regional centers are going to be focusing on because the amount of initiatives and work are quadruple. I don't know if it's even a word, but it is tremendous. And so we got to make sure that we're well equipped to keep up with the amount of rate reform and changes that are going to continue to occur. So thank you, Tim Travis, for all that you do. And we are at 18,069 individuals as of August 31st. Last month on the board report, you'll see that we just crossed over 18,000. So we celebrated that milestone. We're on the trajectory to go from a mid-sized regional center to a very large regional center with our growth. And so you can just see the number of referrals and intakes there. I just want to acknowledge the work of the intake and eligibility teams for doing tremendous work with their resources. So we're really proud to see those numbers go up. And shout out to self-determination. They have 307 participants enrolled in the program. They're averaging on average between 9 to 10 people a month into the program. And so we're really carefully assessing our growth in those areas. And wanted to give a special recognition. I don't know if Annette's with us this evening. Let me scroll. I don't think she is, but Jesse's here. Our other manager, Annette, hiring from the regional center after, I want to say, almost 25 years of service. Annette is fantastic. She's been critical on the success of self-determination. She's got her much-deserved retirement, deserved as of September 30th, and just wanted to publicly acknowledge her to the board. For her tenure, her commitment and career at San Diego Pomona Regional Center, for Annette Bush, for those that got to interact and work with her. I want to acknowledge that this evening. And then I'll end us on our, for skip 24, that should have been deleted. I wanted to bring you to 25, our program statistics. You'll see the ethnicity breakdown for individuals enrolled in self-determination. So you can see by ethnicity and the percentage, that's something we look at carefully. And we like to think about our work doing outreach and access and engagement to make sure that we're reaching underserved communities and making sure that we're taking lessons learned when self-determination can feel very complex and overwhelming, making sure that families have the support they need to make sure that it doesn't have to be overwhelming in the process, and how to make it doable for individuals to access this program. And for those, break down those 307 individuals by age and the percentage. So we just like to carefully track who's in our program. And that completes my board report.
Any questions for Jesse? Well, Jesse, thank you as always for a really comprehensive report, and welcome, Maria. Congratulations to Tim on your promotion.
I have a question. How do you ever have any feedback from what the president say yesterday about trying more and autism.
I think I got parts, Sam. I want to make sure that I'm capturing your question.
Remember yesterday, Trump announced there was a link between Tylenol and autism.
Yesterday, they announced a link between Tylenol and autism.
Yeah. The any of our family call us about that.
Our family's calling us about that.
Not that I'm aware of yet, Sam, but I do know that they've called the department. And I suspect more people will have questions and some people will be reaching out of confusion and concern. I'm going to drop in, give me one moment here. I'm going to drop in the statement from State Council. Let's see if this copy and paste into here. I appreciate your question, Sam. We'll keep a track of it for sure. And let's see if this lets me put this in here.
Well, you kind of addressed it a little bit in your PowerPoint, right?
Yep. Yep.
Just in terms of the connection, the comment about the connection between Tylenol and pregnancies.
Yes, and basically my takeaway there is to consult with medical professionals when there's questions in there. But I do worry about people being confused and
That was an eye. We got a imagine a lot of family. You're a little bit confused about the top now.
The families may be a little bit confused.
Yeah. Agreed, Sam. Lots of confusion. And to Jesse's point, please consult your medical advisors. Is there any other board or community announcements?
If I could
right.
make a quick, just a real quick, not to take any more time from the meeting, but this afternoon we got invited to a ribbon cutting to City of Walnut for Snow Creek Park. They, I think it was through a grant, a project roughly around $250,000 that revamped their park to make it a fully inclusive playground. It's a beautiful setup. It's hopefully an encouraging to do it at more parks, but it was a very well-attended event, very exciting to share that with the community, but it really was a beautiful, beautiful project, and we got to see it firsthand today.
That's great. That's very good news. Thank you, Yvonne. All right, with that concludes our board meeting, and we are adjourned as of 8:09. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and stay safe and healthy out there. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much for leading this tonight, Bill.
My pleasure. Thank you for all the help, Erica.
Good night, everyone.
Night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.